Real talk though, to consider yourself the greatest fighter of all time, that's just a saying. Because it's impossible for any fighter to be the greatest fighter of all time. That's just hearsay. You a really good fighter of your time, or a great fighter of your time, but not the greatest fighter of all time. That's bullshit. Because in order to be the you cannot be the greatest fighter of all time, because you cannot go back in time and fight some of the old fighters that was alive, first of all. Second of all, to just even be the greatest fighter of your era, you have to clean out all weight divisions. You see what I'm saying? That's just a saying. That's just the way I look at it. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to say you the greatest fighter of this generation, that means you, whatever weight class you was in, you got to beat every single person. You don't just jump up in the weight class and beat one goddamn guy, because all the guys that one guy beat, you probably can't beat all those guys. You just can, yeah, you could probably beat the champion, but you probably can't even beat all the number one contenders out of the whole division. So therefore, there is no such thing as the greatest fighter uh, of all time. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of dead fighters that will probably whoop a lot of these fighters' ass today. You know what I'm saying? And like, for instance, Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was a motherfucking beast. You know what I'm saying? You know, they had to kill him, fuck up his car brakes, and crashed himself coming home, I guess, after one of the fights. But think about this. Jack Johnson used to fight goddamn 30 rounds. Today, boxing only go to 12 rounds. You'd be lucky if you get a 15-round fight. Could you imagine that fucking bell going round 20? Round 25? Jack Johnson used to fight over 20 rounds. If anybody deserved the greatest of all time title, it would be him. And Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson, man, all right. So they just say that for these new school fighters to give them hope, pump them up. You know what I'm saying? Because boxing was kind of dying. It's reviving itself. Not that the guy Turkey's in it, but it was dying. But nobody's really the greatest fighter of all time, because you'd have to clean out all the fighters in your weight division, all the fighters in each weight division. You don't just skip the whole line and beat up the champion and then call yourself the greatest. Fuck no. And I said it myself that I don't really think Canelo is all that good as they say he is. You know what I'm saying? Just looking at the way he fight with his pick and pop fighting style. I said, in order to beat a fighter like Crawford, he'd have to have through a combination of fighters. But I did think he was going to knock Crawford out, though. But I just don't like when they fake the fights, because it's like robbing the people. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know who the fuck really the real champion for. Like, let them fight, fool. We know, okay, we understand. It's just a fucking sport. They don't really hate each other. It's just business. You know what I'm saying? Don't sign up to be, a boxer if you can't take fighting for real. Motherfuckers pay millions of dollars not to see you get pampered like a baby. You know what I'm saying? To see who really is the true great, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So all these fixed fights and shit, you just don't know, man. But if it was real fighting, I thought Canelo would have knocked him out, but I think Terrence by far would beat him if they were in the same weight class, because the weight is the only reason why I was giving it to Canelo, and the power. If they say he hit all as hard as they say he hit, you feel me? Because his weight class is for a reason, and that shit do matter. Trust me. Anybody who had to fight a real big person bigger than them will tell you that shit ain't no joke. It ain't nothing to play with. You feel me? And so that's the reason why I was giving it to him, because I could see Terrence getting off some really good punches, and he fuck around and get hit with one shot that'll change the whole tide of the fight. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only reason why I was giving it to Canelo. But fighters like David Benavidez give him, but David Benavidez got a habit of playing with people, and for a couple of rounds, he just like to fuck with him. Like he come on, he walk towards him and shit, he just goofing around, filling them out and shit, and then he start getting in his groove, which that might be a bad thing to do against somebody like Bud, because Bud gonna take you serious from beginning to end. He not gonna play with you at all. Versus Benavidez, he'll get in there and start playing with you and shit just to see what you got. Then he'll turn it up each round. He'll crank it up a notch and start to break his opponents down, which he is another great fighter, but he don't get the opportunity like Bud never got the opportunity, because people scared to fight him. They don't, so just like Bud had to knock on the door for a long time to get his shot, because people were scared to fight him, until Earl came along and gave him that shot, and I was actually calling him out, which all the other fighters wasn't calling Bud name. Hell nah, they were trying to avoid Bud. But then he got a shot with Canelo. That still don't mean he the greatest of all time, in my opinion. I like Bud. He's one of my favorites, but he's not the greatest of all time. Really, no fighter really is. He's one of my favorite fighters, but he's not the greatest of all time. No fighter is. Because first of all, you got to go back in time and fight the fighters, which you can't. They're all dead. But you're not even the greatest fighter in this generation. Like I stated in the beginning, in order for him to be the greatest fighter of all time, he have to beat Canelo, go back down, beat Boots. He'd have to beat Charlo. Both of them. He got to go down, beat Gervonta Davis. I know it seems funny, but he'd have to. If you want to be the greatest of the generation, you got a lot of work to do. Your resume ain't done. So what? You 38. You still a fighter until you retire. But do I think he can retire and be all right? Yeah. I mean, that's all that matters to you. But you got to remember, you jumped up. You ain't fight Caleb Plant. You ain't fight David Morale, who David Benavidez fought. Them dudes some killers, man, in that weight class. And you got to remember, that's not David Benavidez weight class he fighting at either. He was a 168er, but he moved up. So he fighting a whole different weight class, clowning them boys and getting them out of there. Which something Terrence Crawford ain't do. He jumped up to 154 and defeated Majimov. That's it. He ain't fight nobody else in the division. He ain't fight no number one contenders in 154, none of that. He ain't beat at least 3 people in 154. He just beat Majimov. So you don't get to claim you're the greatest fighter of all time by skipping the line, whooping that person, skipping the line, whooping that person. It's a whole line of fighters in that division for a reason. So that's like an insult to all the other boxers. If you really want to say you're the greatest in this era, you got to clean out each division. It's weight classes for a reason. That means every single motherfucker in that weight division, you got to fight them and you got to whoop them. Each weight class. Then you can truly say you're the greatest fighter in this generation because you cleaned them all. That's something no fighter has done. You know who give us that, who is a real great fighter and is on track to becoming one of the greatest fighters of all time in his era, and he's not even in boxing, he's in the UFC, and that's Khamzat Chimaev. Because when Khamzat first came out, he didn't give a fuck who they was and what weight class. He'll fight them all. He said it. It was like, who you want to fight next? He's like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care who it is. I'll kill them all. Give them to me, all of them. They've been trying to give him the belt, have him fight the champions. He said he'll fight his way all the way up. He'll fight the champion. He'll climb the ladder, and he did. He's a great fighter, and he don't give a fuck. And he'll fight any weight class, whatever that he can handle, all the way up. He'll fight them all. He don't give a fuck. And he's been fighting them all and cleaning their ass out. That's what you know, like a great fighter. You feel me? All these boxers who claim it's just a title. It's just a title. It's a name. You're really not the greatest of all time, but you're a really great fighter. You're a damn good, great fighter of your time, but you're not the greatest of all time. There's no such thing as the greatest of all time. I know it's a Muhammad Ali saying, but Muhammad Ali got that saying from Sugar Ray Robinson, because Sugar Ray Robinson was Muhammad Ali's idol. And when you look up his record, you'll fucking see why. He got a lot of losses, but he over 100 and something fights, man. Over 100 and something wins. Over 100 and something KOs. I think, if I'm not mistaken, but he's a hell of a fighter, man. Hell of a fighter. So you can, like, the best ever. Floyd Mayweather, ain't no fucking such thing as a, but you ain't, I already got Crawford over Floyd. I been had Crawford over Floyd. Floyd, he was really not a real fighter. Think about it. Ever since Floyd, now when he was Pretty Boy, he was fighting for real. Those was his real fights, in my opinion. He didn't pay that out. When he went to the WWE, when he joined the WWE and went and fought Big Show in that fake ass fight, and Vince McMahon and all them taught him how to fake fight and trained him, and he picked up something, WWE gave birth to a marketing strategy that Floyd can bring to boxing and use that same strategy. Only he can pay people to lose. You feel me? So he can, hey man, I'm gonna fix this fight. You feel me? You take a dive and I'm gonna pay you, you know what I'm saying? Pay you extra. And so if you keep that up, he can be a fake undefeated 50-0 by simply paying people. Remember, I can make it look like I'm trying to knock your fucking head off, and just be, if I'm faking it, fuck, you know what I'm saying? But I could just hit you soft, but make it look like I hit you hard. You feel me? Like, put an extra oomph in it, but all the while I ain't putting no power in the shit. You know what I'm saying? Just like, you know what I'm saying? But you got to take it what you can, because you're a trained fighter. Remember, you're a trained fighter. You take punches for a living. So of course you could take a couple of real, not real shots, but real shots, but with no real power into it for a couple $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Nigga can make your nose bleed for a couple $1 million. The nosebleed is the famous. That shit easy as fuck. It's probably the easiest thing on your body besides your lip to make bleed. You get what I'm saying? So you might see some blood, you might think the shit real. Bitch, that don't mean it's real. It still can be fake. You know what I'm saying? You can tap your nose like that, damn near bust your own nose. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Nosebleed is fake. I mean, it's easy as shit. There ain't nothing. And lip bust is easy. So those are fighters. They eat, sleep, shit fighters. Just because they punching each other, you know what I'm saying? You got to remember. It's like, the real shit, nobody interested in. The fake shit, everybody interested in. Look at all our fixed NFL football matches. Fake as fuck, but it looks real. Everybody love it, right? Now, when you watch college football, that's the real shit, but ain't no commentary in it. It just look boring. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no hyping it up. No noise making and shit. Look at college basketball. That's real basketball. Then when you get to the NBA, it's fake as fuck. But it's scripted. But it's entertainment. The fakest shit is more entertaining than the realest shit. You see what I'm saying? So when you're in college, you see them boys balling for real. You know what I'm saying? They getting that's real ball, real college ball, but it don't seem as entertaining. It's like, okay, you see some college team playing another college team, you flip the channel and shit. It's not really all that interesting. Ain't no hype in it. Ain't no great commentaries. But then you get to the big league, which is the NFL. They got all the great commentaries, but this shit is scripted like a motherfucker. It's fake. They already know who's going to win the championship, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's same thing with boxing. When you fighting a bunch of nobodies, those are real fights though. But when it's two big names, politics get involved, shit get fake. You know what I'm saying? They pull off the impossible. You know, you got to think about it. And a lot of reason why they could have been letting Terrence ride so long because he got shot in the head. You feel me? And look at Floyd. When they allow him to become winning all them fights, when they robbed Floyd, when he was Pretty Boy, they robbed him in the Olympics. They did because he went overseas and fought. Floyd really beat the boy ass, but they gave the shit to the boy. And so they said, don't worry, Floyd, when you get back to America, you know what I'm saying, you can become a champion. But which is cool and all, but as a black person, the way I look at it, I can never really enjoy anything, dog, if I didn't really earn it on my own. You feel me? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, everything I got, I do on my own. I fill out the paperwork. You know, I apply for this. Nobody applied for me. Nobody fill out the paperwork. I got to go through this shit. You know what I'm saying? I got to be homeless. I got to go through the struggle to get what I get. So I'm feeling good for whatever I got because I feel good that I truly earned it and I didn't cheat. But for somebody to, like, rig up a fight or, you know, pay off a championship and all that shit, you know, it don't feel good. Look at the rap game. Even that's fake. And 6ix9ine had to teach y'all that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people hate 6ix9ine because he being real. He tell you the truth. The man tell you the rap game is rigged. He told you straight up, told y'all his own mouth. Listen, man, it's a lot of y'all niggas out there probably rap way better than me, but y'all will never be where I'm at because the goddamn sport, the rap game is rigged. And that's true. Everything in our country is rigged but death. Sometimes even death. When you see somebody getting shot and killed, that shit is fake. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, everything, a lot of shit in our country is fake, bro. It's not even real. It's not even real. It's all fake and scripted. You know what I'm saying? But so you just never know. But when you see fighters come, like when you seen Benavidez fighting David Morrell. Morrell is good as fuck. A lot of people don't know how good Morrell is. Morrell will probably beat Crawford. I'm just saying probably. You know what I'm saying? A real fight. But Crawford is a real dog, though. But I'm just saying probably. But of course, I'm going to ride with Bud. I think Bud going to fight him. But I'm just showing y'all how great David Morrell is. That Cuban ain't no joke. He might have had a little record, but that man, all right. Morrell was really, you know what I'm saying, if you watch his fights and shit, you'll see him putting people away. Morrell ain't no joke, man. He's a hard hitter. And he almost dropped Benavidez. Buckled him. That's how hard. He was a real power puncher. He was legit. That was a legit fighter. That fight could have easily went either way. That's why you know David Benavidez is not out there fighting a bunch of slouches. Benavidez is fighting real killers, man. He ain't fighting a bunch of no-namers. The man is fighting real killers. Now, for the most part, Crawford had fought a few killers as well. But before he fought those killers, a lot of people ain't really too much know all them other opponents. But Kell Brook was a real legit killer. And Bud whooped him, so he get credit for that. Sean Porter was a real killer. You know, he beat Porter, so he get credit for that. The guy from the UK with the fast hands, that guy is forgot his name. Dude, that was also was he's good. He was a killer as well in his own right. What's his name? I can't remember the dude's name. Damn, it's getting at him. I'm thinking of his name. Dude from the UK with the fast hands. What's his name? Got the British guy name. Damn, he got fast hands. I'm gonna double back to him. I'll probably remember. And then I don't really give him too much credit because I believe the fight with was it not Bivol? No, that's not his name. This guy who Terence Crawford just beat at 154, Madrimov. The guy only had 11 fights, and he was already a champion. So to me, he was picking Terence apart with the jab. He actually had Terence running in that fight. People forget about that. They just look at the win. They don't go into details and look at the whole match, the whole fight, everything. At one point, Dmitry Madrimov had Terence running. The man, he was hitting him with the jab. It's like he was helping him, just prepping him for Canelo. He wasn't really trying to beat him. I truly believe that guy Madrimov could have finished Crawford, could have put him away at 154. I think he, but even though I'm a Bud fan, but I just call it like it is. You feel me? I'm not trying to, I ain't going to be on your side just because, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. I keep it real is what I'm saying. And I believe Madrimov faked that fight, bro. I believe he could have beat. Go back and watch the damn fight. Watch it for real. Now, they probably could edit that shit and make, with AI and make punches look like they landed when they didn't land. But if you go back and watch the fight, the full fight, you will see Dimitri had Bud Crawford. This man only had 11 pro fights, fool. And he was giving Terence hell. You feel me? And then look at the Canelo fight in the beginning. This shit was fake. He wasn't even trying to punch it for real. He was like trying to miss, swinging at the air. When you see Canelo really fight for real against people, see how hard he hit him for real, for real? He was like taking it easy on Bud and shit in the beginning. It's like he was trying to help Bud hit him and shit. And then Bud had to help him act when Bud was hitting him hard for real. He was like, damn, nigga, you ain't got to hit me hard. We're already faking a fight. It just looked fake. I'm just sorry, it just looked fake. It don't look real. So that's why I didn't really get happy for Bud, even though I was wanting him to win, but I felt like, man, it's just fake. It's like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but if something looks real to me, I would nod to it. You feel me? I would represent. I would like it because it looks real. But if it looks fake, I'm gonna call it out. I'm gonna call it what it is. This shit look fake, man. It don't look like if you pay attention to real fighting, it's like, okay, we're gonna fake the fight up to the last 3 rounds, then we're gonna fight each other for real. But we're not gonna try to knock each other out. But all the rest of the rounds we're gonna be goofy, sloppy and shit, you know what I'm saying? Hitting each other, making it look like it really hitting, we really hit, but it's any real fighter, you get what I'm saying. That shit was fake. If you from the hood, you've been in some real fights, you know that shit was fake. But it get real to make you think that it's really real. You feel me? So really, you can't really be the greatest fighter of all time. And for me, Terence still got work to do. He's there. He's almost. He's off on a hell of a start because he just finished some big names. Okay, you was able to put Canelo under your name. You got Madrimov under your name. You got Errol Spence under your name. You got what's that dude from the UK name? Anyway, but you got Kell Brook under your name. Benavidez under your name, which is I believe David Benavidez younger brother or David Benavidez older brother, one of the two, but I know they're brothers. You already beat one of the Benavidez brothers, so he got some killers under his belt already that he knocked off. But in order for him to he'd have to beat everybody. You have to beat Lamont Roach. You got to beat all the boxers that's still active right now. All of them in all weight classes. That's what the greatest fighter of all time is. That's what the greatest fighter of your generation means. You know what I'm saying? So if you clear out all the fighters in all weight divisions, there will be no doubt you're the greatest fighter in this generation. In this time, you're the greatest. Nobody better than you. You can't say you the greatest fighter of all time. You can't even say you the greatest fighter of this time. If it's about 50 fighters, you still never fought. You feel like they ain't on your level, but you never fought them. So you don't know what happened. Motherfucker could be getting their ass whooped, fuck around and swing a goofy ass punch and knock you the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know. You cannot say you the greatest. You got to fight all active fighters right now in all weight classes. Just because you hold belts in 4 weight classes, but you never fought all of the rest of fighters in those 4 weight classes, how can you say you the greatest? Of even just those 4 weight classes alone, yet alone the greatest of all time and the greatest in this generation. It's not possible. You have at least beat all the number 1 contenders out of those 4 weight divisions, which you probably can't do. You know, I'm just giving you an example. So yeah, Bud is a really great fighter. He's one of my favorites. You know what I'm saying? I had him up there for a long time. Even when I predicted him and Errol Spence fight. You know what I'm saying? You go back, that video's still up on my my Great Clouds page. It's still up when I predicted it. And I was in China predicting that fight. I said I could see Bud winning by stoppage. But then again, I still picked Earl to win because somehow I saw Earl toughening it up. But they panicked and stopped the fight. And to me, it was not a good fight. It was not a good stop, I mean. Because a lot of people see Terrence swinging it, ooh, but real fighters know he's not even landing some of those punches, man. All those punches he was swinging when he had Earl hurt, he only landed about 1. So Earl was still on his feet. You really want to prove you better than the man? Put that man away. Leave no doubt. No fucking stoppages. Because stoppages, for all we know, could be saving your ass. Perfect example. When you look up the UFC fight, look up Chet Congo. Come back to when, who he was fighting? He was fighting some dude, some white guy. The white guy, it was Chet Congo versus, I forgot the name. It was a white guy, though. White guy dropped him. Had him hurt bad. Dropped him twice. I'm talking about Bambi legs, that boy. Put him out. He got up again. White dude hit him again. Boom. I mean, was whooping his ass, and then Chet Congo came back while he was knocked out, threw a punch, and knocked the white guy flat ass out, flatlined him, and won the fight. So that's a perfect example. If somebody not knocked the fuck out, you know what I'm saying, or just those fights where somebody just getting their ass just beat way too bad, bloody, and they ain't doing nothing. I mean, just been beaten on a couple rounds. Errol Spence had one good round where Crawford got off. But how we know Crawford wouldn't have got tired after that? Because Earl was not out. He was not out. The man was still on his feet. You had a lot of power to hurt him, but you couldn't flatline him. You couldn't just put him away. That goes to tell you a lot about what could have happened if they would have let the fight ride a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying? With all the millions of dollars on the line. You're a fighter. You can take it. You tough. You know what I'm saying? You ain't no little pampered ass little boy. That's what you do for a living. That's how you feed your family, nigga. You know, you want to go out on your shield. You might have a chance that who knows how that fight would have went, you know, but you cannot call yourself the greatest of all time or any time until you beat every fighter that's active on the roster, no matter what weight class. Then you can say you're the greatest fighter of this generation. That includes Usyk and all them. And I don't even got Usyk as the greatest fighter. How the fuck they gave him the title of that? That guy came out of fucking nowhere, man, and beat Tyson Fury. He beat Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, and all of a sudden he the greatest fighter, heavyweight fighter. These people are tripped, man. You know what I'm saying? Hell nah, man. It's not possible. And really, he lost that goddamn fight against Dubois. They robbed Dubois. So how the fuck he the greatest? Dubois hit him with a body shot, man. The man was out, man, for a 10 count. They robbed that man. You feel me? So he should have took a loss right there. Which he beat Dubois in the second couple of times they fought. But it's just, this shit is a joke. Andy Ruiz. I don't even think he fought Andy Ruiz yet. Andy might give him a run for his money. You know what I'm saying? But it's just a clown show. Nobody can truly be the greatest of all time until you fight everybody of all time. You got 4 belts because you beat 4 people who was holding those belts, but you ain't beat all the people who those 4 people beat to get those belts. See how that works? Because styles make fights. So those 4 champions who went through their weight divisions, you can't beat everybody they beat. Some people they beat will probably whoop the shit out of you. Whoop the shit out of your ass. But they just couldn't beat the guy who beat them. So because you grew up and beat the guys who beat them, don't make you the guy. Just make you a damn good guy. Because you the one who had the style to put this guy away. But your style might not be the style to put those guys away. Who that guy you put away. You see how that works? So how can you be the greatest of all time when you ain't never went back in time and fought all of those people to call yourself greater than them? And then how could you be the greatest of this time when you just you beat guys in your weight division, became a champion in your weight division, and jump up and beat a guy in a whole nother weight division, but never fought all those guys in his weight division? You skipped the line. And then jump up, beat another guy in the weight division, and then jump up and beat another guy in the weight division and just took those belts, but you ain't fought nobody and no other extra people in those lines, those fighters. You know, there's a whole line of fighters you got to run through to call yourself the greatest. You cannot. So truly, just giving y'all a point of view, how really they dumb down the boxing fans. But those of us who really know real boxing and those of us who know real fighting, nigga, from the hoods and shit, who really, you know, who know we ain't had to be trained and all this shit, you feel me? It was natural. We real, you know, we do this for a living. I've been in sports my whole life, man. I've been watching this my whole life. So I know what I'm talking about. And I know talent when I see it. You know, and you a really good fighter, a special fighter, hell yeah. You one of the greats, in my opinion. You one of the GOATs, one of the greatest of really, I can't say you really the greatest of all time. That's why I say you one of them. But that don't even make sense when you think about it. That's just me being nice, speaking in the language in which they can understand. Like for instance, if I'm talking to white people, I can speak like a white person to a white person so he can understand. When I'm talking to my niggas, I can talk like a nigga, like I'm doing now, and speak my hood shit. You feel me? Speaking two different languages. You know, speaking my hood language, my little, you know, how we get down. And when you talking to a cracker, you speaking cracker language so they can understand. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like that. That's just me speaking in hood language, giving him his props in hood language. But he really not the greatest of no time. Because you have to beat everybody in your time. You can't just beat Sean Porter and Earl Spence and call yourself the greatest. No, you gotta fight Keith Thurman, you gotta fight Boots Ennis, you gotta fight you gotta fight Gary Russell, you got work to do. You gotta fight Boots Ennis, you gotta fight what's his name, Charlo. It's work to do. You got to fight Caleb Plant. I know, you got to fight David Benavidez. It's a whole list of motherfucking popular fighters that you will still have to fight in order to call yourself the greatest, the real true greatest. And which one of them guys going to whoop your ass? You better believe that. One of them going to whoop you. You can't beat everybody. So therefore, you're not the greatest of all time because you can't beat them all. Because of weight issues or whatever the reasons why you can't beat them, it's the reasons why you're not really the greatest of all time. Really, no fighter really the greatest of all time or the best ever. That's just the name. It's just, it's just a name. So the first fighter to clear out every fighter in every weight division is truly the real GOAT. No doubt about it. No questions asked. This man deserves every fucking thing forever. He deserves royalty forever. Terrence is on his way to royalty. He's doing a hell of a good job. You feel me? But he can retire and still be, his name is already in history books. Yeah, he's one of the greatest fighters, that ever lived. But he's not the greatest fighter of all time. He's not, no fighter really is. Until you clear out, at least, you got, that means you got to fight all the number one contenders in each weight division too. All number one ranked fighters, all number two ranked fighters. Man, all right, one of them guys gonna whoop the shit out you, whoop the sleeves off you. I'm telling you. And that's how you know no fighter is really the greatest fighter of all time. You got a really good resume. Yeah, you beat some really great people. And you're one of the greatest, but you're not, no, really, you're not the greatest of all time. You one of the great fighters of all time, which means, I guess it kind of do make sense in a way. You're one of the great fighters of all time, but you're not the greatest. You're not the greatest. You're not the GOAT. GOAT stands for greatest of all time. That's impossible. No fighter is the GOAT. And I don't believe none of these boxers today in this generation could go 20 rounds. Nigga, Jack Johnson didn't have a great he didn't have a lot of wins on his resume, but Jack Johnson was fighting motherfuckers 20, 30, 40 rounds, nigga. You imagine that bitch say round 25? Nigga, the fucking boxing arena like, they out of there. They knocked out. Bitch, it's round 30 and shit. Motherfucker, you know how fucking sore your hands gotta be? All that punching and blocking, punching elbows and shit for 30 rounds. So if anybody deserved that title, it's Jack Johnson. That man, you go back and watch Jack Johnson fights, nigga. Whoever could survive, he was knocking motherfuckers out. But whoever could last those rounds, nigga, he was taking that 20, 30 rounds. But even he not even the greatest of all time because he didn't clear out every fighter in every weight division. And then he got losses. So you have to clear out every fighter in every weight division in order to call yourself the greatest of not all time, but the greatest of your time, the greatest of this generation, in which you really still not the greatest of your generation because you're still a whole handful. It's a bunch of fighters you haven't fought yet. You have to go fight all of them. That's what you'd have to do. I mean, you would be a fucking billionaire by the time you get through fighting all them fighters. I mean, you would be a fucking one of the richest motherfuckers one of the richest niggas who ever lived. Yeah. By the time you get through fighting all them people, but you still got work to do. I mean, until you want to retire, but you can do whatever the fuck you want to do as far as Bud go. Bud can do whatever the fuck you want to do. His resume is set. I mean, he's one of the greatest. Yeah, but you're not one of the greatest fighters, but you're not one of the, you're not the greatest of all time because you could consider that ducking. Put it like that. You got 4 belts, so if you don't clean out, fighters in that weight division, at least 3 fighters out of each weight division, you could consider yourself ducking the rest of the fighters because you're not, how you skipping the line. You feel me? It's people in that line will probably whoop your ass if you gave them an opportunity, but you're not giving them the opportunity because you just skipped the whole line of fighters, knocked off the top dog in that division. Don't make you the greatest fighter in that division because it was probably people in that division that could probably knock off that top dog, but they have that shot like you had. You feel what I'm saying? So, because of the rules or whatever, they still got to wait in line for whatever reason. But it was probably some people in that line of fighters that could have knocked his ass out. You know what I'm saying? They didn't get the shot. Like, look at David Benavidez wanting to fight Canelo for the longest. He been running from him. It's it's a reason why he obviously sees something in David Benavidez that he ain't want no part of. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at it like that. Anyways, catch y'all in the next video. Stay safe. Peace out.